Hello, hello, testing. Let's take a second for Rizzo to join before we get started.
Mic check. Mic check 1, 2.
Great, I can hear you, Rizzo.
Cool.
I'm going to turn off the Slack. All right, should we get started?
Get started.
Okay.
Mhm.
Hey everyone. So, big news today. Some that you were expecting, some that you were not. I believe most of you have seen the article that captures from Pocket Gamer that captures the interview with Jamie Jackson, our chief creative officer. And I know it brings up a ton of questions regarding both Blankos, the PC version, as well as the upcoming mobile version as well. But as a team, we are excited for the future, for the mobile version. We think there is a lot to be accomplished there. But I know there's tons of questions, so I'm happy to jump straight into it. Rizzo, do you want to add anything before we go on?
No, yeah, I'm also excited about the future, and I also glad that we're here to help answer some questions and clear some things up as well.
All right. So I'm just gonna take questions right from the dev Q&A chat. So if you have any additional questions, please feel free to continue posting there, and we'll just go from the top. Maybe one thing I can do to help recap, so that if there are folks who haven't seen the article or haven't seen the announcement, I'm just gonna recap that for you. So basically, what the plan for Blankos as a franchise is that it's going to mobile, right? And so we'll be developing the mobile version from scratch. All of our development resources, efforts are oriented towards this project at this time for developing the mobile version. And as such, what that means for Blankos PC is that it's not going away. It's not getting cancelled. The PC version will be available to play. You can continue to use your assets. You can continue to build, but it is available for you to play. But what we will not be able to do, given that we have limited resources, is to devote development resources on both projects. So we are going to focus entirely on developing the mobile version and getting that out. So that is the big announcement, and I'm sure the rest of the details will come through the questions. Anything you want to add, Rizzo, there?
No, I think that's good.
All right, I'm going to go off the top. TurtleByte, Blankos initially emerged and expanded within the PC gaming community. Your article suggests that future updates for PC may cease. Could you please provide evidence supporting the notion that discontinuing PC support in favor of mobile platforms will enhance Blankos growth, whether it pertains to financial aspects, social factors, or any potential benefits that might have been overlooked? So there's actually, from our company's strategy standpoint, there is a lot of benefit to this decision, and here are a few reasons why. Blankos, the PC version, we managed to get on Epic Game Store. It was a big success. We got rated as for the first blockchain game to be on that platform, first blockchain game to be rated via ESRB, and so we were made available. However, the fact of the matter is, for PC games, you have to be on a very strong distribution network to be able to succeed, right? Unless you have a very strong IP. So getting on Steam is quintessential to that, right? And we all know that Steam is not supported. We cannot get on Steam given the fact that we are relying on blockchain tech. So one of the key pieces of what that means is that we need a solid distribution channel to reach as many players as possible, right? What that makes difficult for us is that acquiring a player, paying to acquire a player by showing ads, it's super expensive on PC at this time, right? It's not as much the case in mobile. So between the two, it's really hard for us to continue to find and funnel new players. And so that's one piece. And the other piece is we already have a very strong partnership with our first party, Apple and Google, and you've seen the results of that with NFL Rivals going on mobile. And you'll see some updates a lot around that project over the next few weeks as well that show how strong our partnership is. We are seeing success. We are starting to see success with Nitro Nation on mobile as well. So it seems primed for us to be able to go into a platform that has more than a billion users, that constitutes more than half of the gaming market size in terms of just sheer market potential. And then on top of both of these, we also get the opportunity to start from scratch the development of the mobile version, which means that we get to focus on preventing all of those issues that you have experienced and have called out many times during the last couple of years, right? Or more than that. So we get an opportunity to fix those things and deliver an experience that is optimized, that does not, you know, that doesn't have problems with its physics or with its connectivity or its network code, any of those things, right? So we feel like Blankos, in order for it to scale, get a huge amount of users, be able to acquire, and then tap into a lot more audience for this IP, mobile is the right place to go. And so that's the core reasoning behind the decision. I hope that answers that question. Rizzo, feel free to chime in.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say, and some of it might sound like a reiteration of what you just said, but like the internal team that we have focused on Blankos Mobile is experts in their field. They come from a background of creating mobile games, and the game that they're focused on for Blankos Mobile is building the game from the ground up, utilizing this awesome IP that's been created. And with that, they're able to get around a lot of the things that you've been experiencing, the issues that have been bogging down players for the last like year, 2 years.
All right. The second up is, will Blankos Mobile be based? What is the future of building Blankos? Is the plan okay? So that's a separate question from Google. Blankos Mobile, the mobile version will start. It's again, it's a roadmap. We'll start with building for focusing on gameplay, delivering fun in that, making sure the tech is spot on, making sure that we don't have any of the issues that we faced. So that's what we'll focus on first: gameplay experience and fun, right? UGC in the future of Blankos is always the DNA of Blankos, and so that is something that we will get to. Will it be there on day one? It's too early to say that. There's a team working on it, and we will have conversations and touch points regarding that. Is the plan to return to developing the PC version of Blankos? Well, it's more of a conditional outcome in the sense that we're going to place our bets on mobile, and assuming that mobile scales like we want it to, right, and we see success there, then I don't see why we won't be able to port that same thing back over to PC. But that's a decision that is so further outlined. There's nothing that I can commit at this point on that. Liz, you want to take the next one? Is there going to be a large update for PC Blankos before mobile launch?
So unfortunately, at this time, we can't say that there's going to be a large update to PC Blankos. Right now, as Anish had mentioned, we're focusing our efforts and resources towards the mobile game. And it's not to say that we're not taking stock of the issues that you've mentioned, in Discord, and we have a database of issues that we're maintaining, and it depends on how our bets go with mobile. Anything else you want to add to that, Anish?
No, I think that's the reality of it. We have we have a team dedicated to it, and then we have limited resources on the other side. So we just want to make sure we are able to build and get the game to you as fast as possible. So that's where we're going to focus on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we have what is the current roadmap scrapped again, we pursue. The answer is pretty much on the same lines. The reality is that we have a certain amount of resources, and we are dedicating that towards a better chance at success for everybody. And so, yeah, I don't believe we will be delivering the rest of the roadmap for this year on Blankos PC. Um, Again, I want to clarify that doesn't mean PC is getting cancelled or the game's still available. You can still continue to play. And we will talk about Blankos in the NFTs shortly. I'm sure there's a question on that, and we'll cover it then, if not at the end. Um, what is the second part of the big announcement?
So this is referring specifically to something that was said in general chat by me, and as we were leading up to announcements. So, and it's specifically referring to a portion that may have been missed in there, which, or in the interview, which was around the chain that it will be on. So we know that Blankos Marketplace has been in a separate marketplace from NFL Rivals and from Nitro Nation, and Blankos Mobile will be built with that new marketplace in mind, as well as in-game marketplace inside of a game. And Anish, I don't know if you have anything else to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, from the blockchain side of things, here's what I think we all know that when Mythical started very early off in the space, and with Blankos, we had our own chain of a network called ESIO. Over time, we have migrated from quite a bit of that. For Blankos, however, because we've been around, the development started back in, I believe, 2019. We still are on a lot of legacy tech and legacy chain. Games that we have launched, for example, Nitro Nations or NFL Rivals, they are based on a layer one EVM chain. And as you might have seen in some of the press releases from back in October, Polkadot is in our future, right? So those things will continue to happen. But what it means when Blankos, the mobile version, when it's built, it's getting built on the newer chain, which means it's on the layer one EVM chain, which means that it's way more decentralized. You will be able to see all of the transactions that happen. Unlike today, you will have a block explorer that you look at. In fact, you can go see that. You can go look at explorer.mythical.com. I think the URL is, and you can see transactions that happen on NFL Rivals in there that is happening at any given time. But another thing, what this means is that on the new game, we will be able to trade the assets on the new marketplace, which is the Mythical.market, which currently has only Nitro Nations and NFL Rivals. But Blankos will also become a part of that, right? Which I don't know how many of you are familiar, but that marketplace is backed through the Myth token. And so you can see the Myth token performance on CryptoSlam. You go to CryptoSlam and look at NFL Rivals as a collection, Nitro Nations as a collection, and see what kind of transactions happen. So you'll have a lot more decentralized, transparent visibility into all of the stuff that happens on the blockchain side with this shift. Yeah, hope that adds more information. And again, the NFT piece will come to shortly. In the interview, when Jamie gives elevator Blankos, nothing is really mentioned about UGC, but more aspect of the game. Why not? Is Blankos moving away from UGC? Will development for this side of the game ever come back? So I think Jamie is a firm believer of UGC as a key DNA to Blankos. So I don't think that changes at all. And with respect to the thing about building UGC, as you all know, and builders amongst us know better than even I do, right? Is that it's hard. Right now, it's a very sandbox sort of a thing compared to a lot of games in which you can create levels specifically for a type of play. So it's less structured, which makes it hard for people to play those levels because curation becomes a key piece, right? But at the core of it, we need to figure out how does a core gameplay change, and what do we need from a build standpoint to enable players to create content that other players can play within that context, right? So in terms of order of execution, something like UGC will come after that team figures out the full gameplay, the fun, the experience, the systems, and then provide a build system that can cater to those fundamental aspects, right? So is it going to be in the future? For sure, absolutely. Can I give you a time on when exactly that will be? I can't. That's something that that team, as we introduce them to you guys, you all, over the next few months, they'll be able to provide more information on that as well. Um, Again, what does build mode look like on mobile? Yeah, it's the same answer. I don't have additional information there. What will the new ongoing live event be? Rizzo, you want to take that?
Yeah, so this will, I don't want to give too much about it away, but it will cover a number of challenges. So it's a large event that will have lots of challenges for you all to complete and still be able to earn as well.
So PC is dead. No, I wouldn't say PC is dead. The game's still available. You can play. We are not doing further feature development on PC until we get mobile stuff done. You're sticking to a roadmap for second year in a row. Yes, unfortunately, we all hate it. We all hate the idea that we failed in that ability to deliver on that second roadmap. But we also have to change with changing business context, right? So the whole NFT crypto market has changed its form over the last year and a half drastically. We have found acquiring users harder and harder on the PC side. Like I said, we need to get into a place where we are able to provide access to this wonderful world that you all love to a ton of players. And the way that we can see that happen and where we can have the maximum impact is through mobile. So we are making a conscious decision to pivot towards that. Okay, let's see. It sounds like you're making all of the new maps for mobile. If development is stopping on PC, what will be the point of building in Blankos? No blueprints anymore, win conditions. Seems like 2023 or yeah, has gone down the drain. So, Rizzo, feel free to chip in. But the reality is, yes, because we can't say at this point that, hey, build is going to be 1:1 and is going to be available from this time on from Google. And because fundamentally the underlying tech and how assets are used, how much it is optimized, what sort of build interactions we have, since those things are not final, we can't commit. To be honest, we can't commit and say, oh, these maps will be usable assets. I'm sure that we'll find ways to adapt. The team will find ways to adapt and be inspired by maps that are already created, and credit will be given where credit is due. And so that much for sure. But then eventually we'll have that vector come up in the world.
Yeah, it's also really going to depend on the system that's built for that for building. The the point that PC maps may not transfer over to mobile well is valid. They might not, and there may be a period of the mobile team taking a look at what maps have been created on PC and seeing if they do transfer over. But really, that won't be their immediate focus.
Mobile isn't going to fix this game, dude. Yeah, mobile isn't going to fix PC as a version. And I know that's not what you mean, but that's the point I'd like to make, is that we get to start over on that mobile and make it for that platform and for the gamer audience that sits there. And we will be able to do that with all of the learnings, all of the challenges that we faced, and we want to do a better job at delivering a high quality experience. Um, Basically, you had to dump everything, start afresh. What do you think will happen when you reach the stage in mobile? Well, we don't intend to reach the stage in mobile. We do. We hope to get the development right and the systems and the gameplay and the fun right. from the very get go on mobile. So we hopefully never have to get to that question.
Let's see where else we're at.
Sorry?
I was just looking through where else we're at.
If you're rebuilding on mobile, it means all the maps you put time into making will become obsolete. They will still be usable on the PC version once and when the build UGC aspect is figured out on the mobile side. Maybe there is opportunity to see how one can be transformed or in some way provide benefit to the other. But it's too early for us to commit anything on that front at this point.
Yeah. Resource-wise, mobile seems like the best option for Blankos, but what does that mean for the current player base? Will the game lose the properties that made it what was fun to start? That's like one of the biggest pieces of this is like so much amazing creativity has come out of Blankos over the years, and that doesn't get lost. You know, the heart and soul of like the IP and who your Blankos are and is something that we're hoping to carry across. You know, and you know our chief creative officer is an expert on the game and helping with the development process of it. We're also available for expertise as well that we'll be inputting as well. So yeah, we'll maintain as much of the IP as we can.
Yeah, and that the things that made it fun, that's absolutely core, right? And that's why the team that's building out the mobile version is starting from that, making sure that's preserved, that's retained. So that when you play it, you actually feel like, oh shit, I remember and feel like how it used to be playing on PC and how enjoyable it was. The enjoyable parts, right? And we want to get rid of the parts that weren't enjoyable, right? And fix those things. This is going to be a short Q&A. I think we are trying to answer as many questions as possible, but somewhere in 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Will there be an option to play the mobile Blankos on PC in case my mobile is not good enough? To answer this question, let's go back a little bit. I think maybe we talk about NFTs. So throughout the last 3 years, you all have acquired, purchased, gained, gem-rushed various NFTs on the game. What we want to ensure is that these are all interoperable onto mobile, right? So your mythical account is the same account that will be used for any of the mythical games. So if you have assets in your mythical account that is tied to Blankos PC, NFTs that are tied to Blankos PC, those NFTs you will be able to use them in the mobile version, right? Now there may be some places where there may be licensing issues, but we are already tackling those so that it becomes because we want to deliver the ability for you to use all the NFTs that you've gained in the new version of the game, right? And so hopefully you do that and you have my expectation, and this is not a comment, my expectation is that by the time the mobile version comes out and you go into that with NFTs Blankos NFTs that you've gained from the PC version, you're going into a player base that have not seen any of those things, right? And have not and do not have access to any of those because the content in Blankos Mobile will not be resupplying the existing assets, right? It'll move on to newer Blankos, right? Or whatever their design systems are, right? So you will have stuff that is unique. And so that is something that we want to ensure. And this is something that is only possible because it's Web3 and that there's the aspect of ownership. So somewhere in the next 3 to 4 months, we will provide a way for you to migrate your assets or your NFTs into the new chain. What that will allow for is allowing you to buy and sell if you'd like to on the new marketplace. But at the same time, as the new mobile version goes through its alpha and beta, you should be able to start seeing those things in that game as well, right? All of those NFTs. So we want to ensure that that happens. Unfortunately, for it to be reverse to Yisha's question, whether can I use the mobile Blankos on the Blankos PC? PC version, that's going to be hard because of what I said earlier in our call. Both things will exist on completely different chains and completely different tech, and so it's going to be hard to send it back. So maybe in the future, if we see success, and we hope to see success in mobile, and we decide to port it over to a PC version, then we'll be able to do that. But until then, it'll be a one-way migration. It'll be driven by you guys, you all initially, but at some point we will have to migrate it all across so that it's available to for bridging to mainnet or to be able to see it on Block Explorer, all of those things.
So another question that's come up. So what's the point in keeping PC as a platform? Sorry, but that's a cop out from that seems like a cop out from Mythical. So you couldn't fix the game, so instead you scrap it and rework the mobile. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, we're a business. We have resources. We have a certain amount of money that goes towards those resources, and we need to make certain decisions in order for certain things to thrive. So yes, we have had problems in Blankos PC. Yes, we know that from the architecture that was created for it, it has created a ton of issues for our users. And when it comes down to it, like if we had to fix all of those over take something and build it up from scratch, it's a better bet for us business wise to build it up from scratch and utilize that money and resources towards those things instead of having to pretty much shut down like what you guys are playing in order to fix a lot of those issues, because we can't take those resources and also create content for you at the same time and keep feeding that content as well as fixing the amount of issues that are needed to be fixed.
Yeah. So between the choice of rebuilding and betting on a platform that can get us far more users and far more reach with partners, first party partners, we are betting on moving to. Will we be able to build on PC and convert it to mobile? I don't know at this time. Like I said, the way the build budget is inside the game, tech budget is, and the way the assets are optimized, the way that mobile version would want the level of control that mobile version would want to give to a builder, that all comes into play when thinking about moving one from PC to mobile. Is it possible technically, theoretically? I'm sure it does, right? It's a question of time, money, and effort, right? We just don't know at this point. So once the core gameplay is finalized and built, and there is a build, actually playable build that I think you all saw in the tweet from John, and it looks good. And so once that is more polished and refined and it's finalized, we will be able to figure out the UGC aspect. So scrap 2022 and 2023 roadmap to rework mobile. What is the point in keeping PC? Well, we have the PC version. We don't see why we should take that experience away until mobile. Until we have mobile version up and about running fine, and we are deciding importing a version of mobile into PC, right? So we don't see a upside to taking down PC. We think the experience is still wonderful. We know there are issues with it. We still want everyone who still loves playing the game to continue being able to at least engage with it as we get the mobile version ready and out in the market. When will we be able to sell Blankos straight for crypto instead of having to pay an expensive fee to put in OpenSea and then sell? Blankos don't usually retain the original purchase value, so sending them for a huge fee to OpenSea doesn't make sense. Well, the migration, the ability to migrate Blankos into the new chain that we'll provide by the end of the year or early next year, that should allow you to trade it on the Mythical market. And Mythical market is backed by the MIT token, so technically it is a crypto based transaction. So that should solve this problem for you. And then the the bridging from that chain onto the mainnet is a much more transparent version than the ones that we've had in the past. So more decentralized. So um, I'm not an expert on that, so I can't give you more details at this time. But I'm sure as we get closer to that date, we can share more technical information on it. But when you're working on a fix for PC for months, yes, we have on several occasions tried to both work on brand new features, add new things, as well as try and resolve what we call our technical debt, which is every time we don't fix a thing, it just adds up into the number of things that we need to fix. And that could be bugs, that could be just the way the architecture was done, the way the network code is the what we call netcode is what gives you that experience of, well, I'm stuttering, or there's a lag, or I hit that person and it's not registered, right? All of that's caused by the network code. Unfortunately, our network code needed an overhaul, but overhauling network code is something that takes months, right? So the question is, do we do only fixing for 6 months? Do we do feature development and fixing? We opted to do feature development and fixing. I think maybe in hindsight we could have approached it differently, but given that choice again now, we are opting to go for more, where we can fix for these things as we build the game. Um,
Yeah, I think like only to add to that is that in hindsight, for a number of things, there's like different things that we could have done in the past. Absolutely, and uh, what we can hope for is that we take the learnings from that and we hope to apply them.
yeah,
In
and that is something that we not just as professionally but also personally feel a deep commitment towards to all of you to ensure that that happens, because we've learned a lot of lessons and it was tough navigating it while trying to manage a market that's going crazy. So we want to make sure that that happens, and I think that's one of the key pillars of the ongoing development. Um, let's say building maps will only get us maps featured on PC version Blankos. So, and even if not, we will continue to have new maps being featured at least somewhat regularly, even after Blankos Mobile gets released and focus is shifted there.
I can, yeah, I can answer that. So, with the resources we have, like we've been able to at least do some testing with the Feature My Map system. I know that you all have some feedback on that as well, but a lot of that requires a lot more resources to be able to do it. So I can continue to test those maps with some folks and continue to post those on a weekly basis as we have, and continue to reward those players. I'd like to, but I also want to make sure that you all want to continue doing that as well. So like we'll keep doing it and see how it goes, and I'll adjust wherever I can.
So you want to do the next one as well? Will we be able to?
What will happen to drops?
No, there was a one on live. Fix the live
Oh,
game mode.
did I miss that part?
Can you just fix the live game mode in PC Blankos before? Bluebird.
Oh, I didn't even see that part.
It's,
Can you repeat what you just said so that I can at least answer you?
fix the live game mode in PC Blankos before. I explained exactly how to replicate that about a year ago. I think you'll have to go back and look at it.
Yeah.
Then from Two Heavens, why start a new project when you don't at least fix the game everyone caring for? Well, I think it's part of the answer was said before, which is to really fix this game, we have to rewrite our network code, we have to rewrite our tech stack, right? And that is going to take a tremendous amount of time. So the decision is between doing that and spending that time towards getting access to a platform that can bring a tremendous amount of users. And so we're making the choice to do that. And the second piece to that is what Rizzo mentioned earlier on. It's not, we are working with a different development team. We now have an internal development team who comes from developing mobile games, who's 20 years of experience making mobile games, and they're going to be they are the ones who are already working on it, and so their skill sets are more advanced on the mobile front, and they are able to already have a build out and looking at how smooth and how great it plays feels like it's poised for success. So we feel confident from a skill set standpoint, from a tech standpoint, from our ability to market and reach players as well with this changing zone. The alternative is that we stay on course, try to restart this from scratch, and it takes a bunch of time, a few months to get to that point, and then struggle with the same issues of getting to a wider user base on an ongoing basis. The stuff that you can get on a hype basis, that hey, we do a PR announcement, you get a bunch of users that come in early, but then sustaining that is way harder on PC, especially when you're not on one of the key distribution channels. Um,
Next one is, will we be able to build on PC and convert it to mobile?
oh, we
Uh,
would be,
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I answered that one earlier.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, explore it on the market. Yeah, mushy piece, man. We are, yeah, we're equally frustrated with that. So I'm looking for
I
more
don't even
questions.
ever want to eat any mushy peas because of how many times I've seen the word mushy peas.
Will it have a Spanish translation? I think games going into mobile, localization is an automatic content play in order to reach more users. So while it may not be something that we focus on from the very beginning, the game will, I assume, set up for being able to localize easily. From another piece from Title Byte. I appreciate your response. While I understand the advantage of focusing on mobile game advertising, it raises the question of whether these benefits outweigh the loss of the entire current PC gaming community, which currently constitutes 100% of player list. Have you considered the possibility of initiating a separate PC version, like a 2.0 release, to cater the PC community preferences? Um, it can yield substantial rewards in business. Just continuing PC despite being technically active aligns with the best interests of a user base and most entirely. Well, the question really comes back to the resources we have and the development team that we have, and we can split our efforts. We feel like that would result in us trying to do too many things, like we have done and have learned in the past. So we do want to focus on making one thing work well, and so that's a key piece of it. And so we're gonna, and if you're going to do that, we might as well do it so that we put all of our efforts and get it to you as fast as possible, as opposed to that taking another year and a half to get to you, right? So that's really the key decision making. At the end of the day, Mythical is a growing company. We have to take our bets and our best shots where we believe we can have success. Most of us have been here for it. Rudeness doesn't help anything. We're trying to keep the game alive. And I think that's not person, but I appreciate the support. Um, did I understand correctly that we won't be? No, we won't even be able to build on mobile. Nope, that is not what I said. What I was saying is that UGC is an aspect for mobile that will only come after the core gameplay, the gameplay systems, and the fun experience has been designed and delivered. So that's what I said. Wasn't saying that it won't be there.
An expansion of my previous remark. How does Mythical expect to pay for mobile when their player base is being dropped again? While technically the game is still up, we still feel as PC players that we are being neglected. Also, semi-related, have you thought about switching to UE5?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing, right? It is also, we're making this decision from a business standpoint as well, right? We think there is the the business is likely to be something that can sustain and be around for a long time as a live service if we are on mobile with this change. And so that's part of the reason why we are going in this direction. About switching to UE5, it's the same thing, right? Switching to UE5 would mean that we have to rewrite all of our tech from scratch, and that includes Anything from asset pipeline, rendering, network code, all of it will have to change in order so it will fine. The question is that effort better for the PC platform or for mobile? Where do we stand to have the greatest amount of success? And we as a company believe right now it is mobile.
Good thing we made 150 plus maps each. We can start from scratch again. Look, like again, it may not translate well from PC to mobile. There may be some that will work, but that's to be determined. You know.
What
I'm looking
happened?
for more.
What happened to portals? Not sure what that one is about.
It's about John's demo of portals.
Oh yeah. So there is work still happening on that front. I unfortunately don't have the information on that front. It's happening as part of a different initiative within the company, and I'll find more information on it.
It's definitely an amazing bit of tech that we're really excited about. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was a tremendous amount of effort that has gone in from both the development team as well as the team at Mythical as well as all of the players, the builders. And I know that this sounds like, oh shit, everything's it's all been for nothing. We don't think that way. We think everything has been a learning. Hopefully, we deliver a far better experience that you can enjoy and be excited about, and also have an element of UGC in the future that supports all the builders here. Um, will we have maps being featured for PC Blankos even after focus shifts towards mobile? I think you might have said something in this regard already.
Yeah, I hope to continue featuring the maps, absolutely, on a weekly basis. I have to test the maps for today, so those might go out a little late, but I do definitely want to continue doing
that. I'll also take the difficult. Why did you sell the great news as awesome and you know that no one in the current days would like it? Well, we do think that going into mobile is going to get a ton more audience for Blankos. I think a lot more people will come to enjoy and appreciate the Blankos universe. I don't think right now on PC with a slice of the crypto audience, we still have a long way to go for all the gamers in the world to know about Blankos. And I think mobile presents that opportunity, and we firmly believe that is exciting, and that's why we believe it's an awesome universe. Does Mythical have any plans to increase transparency and communication regarding MAU in the future? Since it's a pretty hard pivot, it will be some comfort for those investors in the project. Yes, I'll need to check in and make sure we don't stray any of our lines there. So we'll check in on that and circle back to you on the email. Do you want any Isha's questions?
Hang on a second. I was just looking at that one. Has Jadian's appearance with Mecha Peanut anything to do with the new MASH features in mobile? No, actually, Jadian found a bug in the system that allowed them to basically mash together. But it was just a bug that he was exploiting. Something that was a part of the news.
Right. Let's see. Is it possible you'll see a deal with Google Play Games to get support on the new Google Play PC so we can still play the game on PC? Too far out to answer. I think that is still stuff on the Google Play stuff is still developing. So we just want to get the game built on mobile device, and then it opens up a ton of opportunity. The game will still get built in Unity, so we have an opportunity to put back to PC. If that's the way we go, it'll probably work on any platform that Google plays on. So, but that's all so far out there that you know we'll get to those as we get to them. Any update on Uphold? What I can say is that on when things move to the new chain and the new marketplace, they have on their roadmap additional payout methods. So some of this friction is expected to be solved by that. How much gas is that going to? Will migrating be free or cost gas transfer? Okay, so moving the stuff from our US chain to our new chain, our goal would be to do that without you guys having to bear any of the cost. Right? So that's what we are trying to do because it's a migration that we are doing as opposed to you having to do. So we'll make sure that that is taken care of. This is satisfactory to this community. Will there be any consideration to reverse its decision that the community finds unfavorable? I think it's going to be really hard to change directions. We've already got the development very well underway on the mobile side of things. The question really is, do we come back to PC at a point in the future and bring this one up to speed with more? And I think there is a possibility there. Again, I cannot commit to that, but we'll have to see how well the mobile version does. We have kind of question for you, but if you guys know, will mobile reset seasons? Will there be seasons on mobile, or will it continue from the current season? I think it will have its version of meta systems that drive seasons or pursuits. So I think it will have a version of it. Is it going to be a continuation of the PC seasons? I don't think so, but it's too early to say because it's on the live services side of things. So basically, once everything has bridged, the PC platform no longer has access. If in the time that the migration tool is made available to you, if you move the NFT from your account on Blankos PC to the new chain, then you will not be able to use that on the PC version, but you will be able to use that on the mobile version. And that's because of the chain issues that I talked about. The completely different ones, the games are also completely different tech and the way that it's built and how they absorb access.
Looking through.
What will be done during these 3 months until the end of the year? I think what we want to try and give you over the next few months is one, at some point, we want to make sure that we get a chance to introduce the leaders on the mobile games development side, right? So that they can help provide further updates and so on. We want to try and give you a view into the development build, see what that looks like, see some assets, see some clips of people playing it, and then at some point, as the alpha gets delivered, there's probably closed user group testing that happens on that front. So as members of the community who've been around for forever in Blankos, you all will have priority in being able to access those and being part of those tests and giving feedback and helping influence the development as well. So those avenues will be open. So we want to try and focus on those pieces so that you have visibility into that development. Do you know what the rest of the next question is?
I think that they were already answered actually, so I'm just scrolling down to see where the next one is. Okay. I'm reading more comments than questions right now, so it's hard to read through it. Please, can you tell us if... Oh, yeah, we answered this one. Rizzo, you say that you are trying to learn from the past, but in the past, you guys have lost a lot of support by not listening to the community's concerns. It's true that sometimes the community doesn't know everything that's going on, but this is major. Yeah, I don't completely disagree with you. You know, we can't listen to everything. We definitely take everyone's concerns or their feedback and we weigh it against everything that we need to do. And like I said before, sometimes we didn't make the best decisions, and I hope that we learn from that and take those learnings across to the next team that's working on this.
Um, your question from Corin. Can you confirm or deny whether shooting mode will be available on Blankos Mobile? We cannot confirm or deny that right now. But what we do know is that there will be way more different types of gameplay on Blankos Mobile than on Blankos PC. So that's another reason why the decisions on UGC and transferring of maps become harder, because there are going to be what win conditions were intended to do. You'll see a lot of that outcomes in there, right? To be able to have various different kinds of gameplay available to players to be playing as party. And so that will be there. Um, now, how much is that to me? 23's question. Well, our desire is to take care of that, so you don't have to worry about it. Before, is that a question? Will it play as the same as on PC at the moment? I'm assuming you're asking about Blankos Mobile. Well, it should play way better. It should have better gameplay, better movement, better physics, better network, and
And it
hopefully,
also should be like catered to the experience that you have on the mobile as well.
yes, yeah. So you should be able to play comfortably on mobile with that user interaction, and still have a lot of fun. Some of the stuff that they've done already is super exciting. Like it's the stuff that we all wanted to get to on Blankos PC, and it's already
Yeah.
there.
Cryptum, will the current Blankos dev team remain allocated to Blankos after it goes mobile?
Um, so a lot of our sorry. Oh, so we were working with a developer previously on Blankos PC. It's not the same developer for Blankos Mobile. The new developer is an internal team. So they're closer to our leadership, closer to everything that happens, can respond faster, can make decisions and move on and deliver a much better experience, right? And also work on fixing all the issues that seen happen in the past. And this development team was actually acquired by Mythical a few months ago for the expert purpose of building out mobile version.
What will happen if I don't transfer my Blankos to the new chain?
I think it's a account level thing. So I think for a while it'll be an option for you, but at some point we probably have to migrate those automatically over, right? Otherwise, we'll be trying to support it on a chain that where you can't do anything with it. So, but we still have to iron out the details around it. We appreciate feedback on that front. Um, yeah, because yeah, so that's really what I have for that question right now.
So when do we expect mobile? Another year?
I can't. Hopefully, much quicker than that. That's all I can say right now. We will have updates the next month after that about timelines, roadmap, etc. So I think we should wait for that and for that team to talk about. Um, yeah, automatically migrate. I think we touched on that already. At the end of it, yes, we will do that. Initially, it'll be driven by you players deciding when to move it over. At some point, we'll have to do it automatically as well, and we will. I think we will be taking care of the burdens as well. We do need to figure out a way to reconcile for those items that are already on mainnet, and that is a use case that we are planning to solve for as well. So we will figure out a way in which you can use the bridge on the new chain to accept stuff on the mainnet and pull it back into the system so you can play it on mobile. So that's something that we will take care of. This was in response to the question. So Blankos on 8th become worthless now. Cool, that's $200 down the range.
Well, we still have our non-NFT accessories like Blue Helmet and the Blankos Mythical. Hope so.
We don't know at this time. Our focus right now is to make sure NFTs get moved over, and then we have to figure out what happens to the rest of it. But core commitment is towards the NFT. Will our Blanco box and Moola be available on both? No, it will not be. Blanco box and Moola will be specific to each game because, like I said, on the mobile version, the game systems will be different, will be better. There will be a lot more depth to it, and so the economy itself will be different. So transferring that over directly would be difficult for us to manage. But we do want to be cognizant of the things that you have. So we will figure out some sort of a program for it that is, acceptable and palatable to everybody. I think we answered the next question.
Yeah.
How will mobile impact the latency related issues we've had? Now, this is, specifically, like I think I was referring to this earlier. The network code for Blankos needed a complete overhaul. That was why it was so hard to fix, despite all of you giving us feedback. It required a specific skill set that needed to come in and work on the project. And while they were rehauling the network code, you'd have had to put all of the development in pause because your network code affects anything that's related to gameplay. It was tied into all parts of the game. So that's why it was such a difficult thing to address. With mobile, we don't have to deal with that because we are starting with a better provider, and we have experts on that side who now know how to do that really well, right? So we don't expect those issues to appear. So what will happen to our collection? It remains, nothing's going away. You can still use it. You can still see it. You can still access it on Blankos PC. You can still see it on the Blankos marketplace. Eventually, your NFTs, you will be able to move them over to the new chain, at which point you can still see them on the new chain, more transparent, has Block Explorer. You'll be able to see that on the new marketplace. And then once Blankos mobile game is available to you, you will be able to use them in the new version.
I'm just scrolling down.
Can we decide
Nothing's
when?
happening. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, can we decide when to migrate? Can we do a full migration as well? Our current thinking, and we are open to feedback on this. Our current thinking is that once the tool is available, there is a window of time. I don't know. Let me say 3 to 4 months, possibly, but it could change. There's a window of time at which it's up to you to decide if you want to move them over because the Blankos mobile version maybe still in development or it needs to it's still not accepting the older Blankos. So you have a choice if you want to move it over and have it on the new chain, use it on the new marketplace, or bridge it from the new chain into the mainnet. So that is up to you when you move it. But at some point, when a few months after that, when Blankos mobile game is ready to accept these things and show them in game, we would do a all out migration over to the new chain. That's the current plan. We are open to feedback. Please let us know if there is something that we missed. Like I think somebody pointed out, what happens to bankers that are already on mainnet. That is a use case that we will resolve as well. But yeah, that's the idea here. I think it's happening on PC until mobile version is out. No challenges.
Yeah, so we will have a live event that has a ton of challenges in it that will go out after season 4 has ended. Will there be an exclusive drop for day one OGs? Will PC users get anything special as a reward? It's too early for us to say, but it's definitely been in the discussions.
Yeah, we've talked about it. I think there are a few things that we want to do, right? I think we all want to recognize the folks who've stuck with Blankos from the beginning on, right? They've been around. We want to make sure that you are recognized and you have status akin to that in the new game. So we will work towards that. Is there going to be OG stuff? Well, all of your NFTs are going to be OG stuff. Nobody else on mobile will have those, right? So you already have those things that are unique and special to you. Um, Honestly, we don't like. Yeah, so I think there's a lot to be had there. So we'll make sure our community is appreciated and the respect that they deserve continues onto the new project.
So how can we earn NFTs now? Do we need to play mobile for it?
Do we need to play mobile for it? Well, in the mobile version, there will be ways to earn your NFTs, and there'll be interesting mechanics that you can engage in. We can't talk to it at this time, but we will have updates in the next few months that cover different parts of the upcoming game. Can we give blankos to other accounts during the migration? I think this has a lot of legal and financial considerations to it because these are NFTs, and we have to stay within strict legal guidelines for Mythical to operate as a company that deals with blockchain in the US. So that is a very tricky piece to handle. But yeah, that's all I can say at this time. I think it's going to be hard unless there is a reason and a way to prove that the accounts are yours. Then you can go to CS and find if there's a solution for it. All right, we are at 4 o'clock. We will go through rest of the questions and we will consolidate and get you answers. We will also post an FAQ. I know, and both Rizzo and I and the team knows that some of this is very difficult to hear and understand. But we also, in the same breath, believe that this is the right direction. We believe that a lot more players can enjoy and appreciate and have fun in the Blankos world with mobile. Um, and the future, assuming that these things work out, the future is all things are possible, right? But we do need to hit success in a business material way, and so that's what we're focusing on, right? And um, yeah, we've learned a ton, and we want to make sure that those learnings come into effect, and the game and the experience that we deliver platform. I hope that is everybody enjoys it. Hopefully, we can show you some of that sooner than later, and so you can feel
Or
some
John
fun.
will. Or John will.
Or John will, as you all know. He's gonna share something. But as always, like we really appreciate you guys for sticking with us, for even in the tough times, and also challenging us, questioning us, asking for justification on the decisions we made. It is not easy for us to it's not an easy job, right? So we're doing what we can in the best of our abilities, and we want to get better. We will continue to try and get better, and with this new expertise within our internal development team, we really do believe, even from the early signs, that it's going to be amazing, right? But that there's only that. I don't expect all of you all to be convinced, but I hope that when you see what's being built, that you will have that conviction on your own. Rizzo, anything you want to add?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not always. It's not always fun when you hear things that like you don't want to hear, or that you didn't expect, and you want everything to go towards the best outcome possible. And truly, we do too. And I know that sometimes when we have to write these news articles or give any responses of stuff's not fixed yet, it's absolutely hard on us as well. And thank you for being as patient as you have been. And I know that sometimes not always as patient, and that's okay too. It's okay to be frustrated, and I am really excited for the future ahead, and I hope that that you will get hyped as soon as you start to see more come out of Blankos Mobile.
Um, and yeah, don't worry, we will still look at all the questions. We will circle back with answers for all of those. So it's not going to go away. But yeah, thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. Hopefully, we'll set up more time to have touch points and introduce some new people and also show you some cool stuff.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks all.
Thank you.